Only one team will win the prize and bragging rights.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Ultimate Fighter.
Welcome to another Bookie Beatdown TUF fantasy breakdown for Week 8.
Week 8.
Week 8 in the books, and ATT's back on track. Hayder Hassan.
They send in
their executioner, I guess you
the
can
one
say.
guy that they know has a chance of winning. He's already won one.
Yep. And Hayder Hassan gets her done for 35 points. Same bro, language censored. Dana says that he has a good fight. Finally, we got some Dana points. It was about time, because none of that stuff was really happening this season. And win by decision, 20 points. He obviously fought Felipe Portela, who got 10 points for language censored, and obviously Dana saying that it was a good fight.
And Portela, he got lucky, because at one point he said, "Man, I really miss my family." I was like, "Oh, minus points," but he didn't miss his kids specifically. So I was like, "Damn it."
It's true.
I don't have Portela, so I need to get him deducted points.
A lot of these rules are maybe a little bit too technical.
We will make changes in the offseason.
We're going to have to make some changes for the next season of
but
the
he
Ultimate
gets
Fighter,
through
for
it.
sure.
He didn't look bad in the fight.
One thing that was interesting about this was not the greatest episode. Let's just call a spade at this point. But one thing that was interesting at the end, that if you were a gambling man and say this was a regular fight, he said that he was scared going into the fight. He had already fought Hayder Hassan before. He got knocked out in the fight that they had against each other. And he was literally, at the end of the fight, he's just like, I was kind of scared. I just kind of stayed on the outside and tried not to get hit.
Yeah.
So, interesting little dynamic. If you ever see a fight between two people where one person has knocked out the other, obviously a common occurrence, something to take note of moving forward.
Well, I thought it was funny because Glenn Robinson makes
maybe he's a little bit mentally weak.
Oh, maybe. I don't think he's going to fight again to begin with. He was their last guy that they put into the lineup, and he just happened to draw Hayder. But I remember Glenn Robinson was like, "This is great. This is the fight we wanted. Felipe told me he really wanted this rematch." I was like,
he does
I don't know why he wanted it. I don't know why he's telling people
once
that.
the fight's over, he's basically, that's what he said is,
Yeah, but you know
I do not want a rematch against I didn't want it.
Coming into the show, I knew for sure I wanted Hayder in my second bracket. I thought he was one of the better guys, and I still think he'll make it to the finals. But he's not as good as I thought he was. He showed some susceptibility. And Felipe Portela, some guy that when I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, oh, he already lost to Hayder, and he has a mid-pack record. He was like 8 and he didn't have a great record. Didn't really get much screen time. I wasn't expecting much. He actually did a lot better than I thought he would.
Yep. All right, let's go through some of the rest of the points here. We have Michael Graves, language censored, 5 points, being shirtless in a normal human area. Another 5 points for a total of 10. Dan Lambert said, "Bro, unfortunately, I have to make a new board for this week, because usually he just gets the language censored points. This week, he said, bro, I believe, to Hayder Hassan when he was telling him that he was gonna fight. He's like, go get him, bro.
Go get him, bro.
He's like, damn it.
I only retained
now I
those
have
points.
to make another board after the last 5 weeks where it's been very, very easy for me." With Dan Lambert. We got Glenn Robinson, language censored. Nathan Coy, Nathan Coy saying bro. He likes to say bro. And Steve Carl, language censored. Any little takeaways? I didn't have any takeaways. You know, I send out an email to everybody in the league every single week, and I really didn't have much of a takeaway from this. I didn't want to force it. You know, it was one of those things that I didn't really want to force it, because after that episode, I didn't really have any takeaways. Did you?
Yeah, well, my takeaway is that regardless of, whoever claimed that ATT was going to do good here, I think they're done. I think they're completely pooched in. And the reason I say that is, if you look at the guys on their team that were supposed to score well, you got Nathan Coy, who did not look good at all and suffered a cut. You got Marcelo Alfaya, did not look good, didn't suffer a cut, but just looked very poor. Steve Carl looked brutal and got choked out, and I know they're going to put him back in there at some point, and I just don't think he's going to do very good. He just doesn't seem like, sometimes when you see guys in real fights, not real fights and fake fights, but real fights outside of this TUF house, and you see guys in the TUF house, and they're just not the same. It seems like ATT is really struggling in that domain. So you got Hayder. Hayder's the one guy who it's like, okay, we can draw on this guy, and you have a replacement. But they bring in Cristiano Souza, who is athletic and impressive against variety opponents, but I just don't think he's going to do good in this setting. And then you've got Hayder Hassan, who they should have saved. That was the last 50-point fight. They should have saved Hayder for the first 100-point fight and try to get their win there.
And then try to get him for the first and the fourth 100-point
Yes,
fight.
because then you could have tried to salvage the 200 points, and you could have been like, okay, we're going to throw. They should have thrown maybe Carl in there, and a guy like Steve Carl could have beaten Felipe Portela. But instead, they wanted to go. They got panicked. They were like, oh man, we're losing all these fights. Let's just put our best guy in there. And to be honest, I think they blew that. I think they blew that seriously. Flip side, you look at the Black Zillions. Kamaru Usman's probably chomping at the bit, ready to get in there. He took virtually no damage. He's going to be able to go. Buscape, he took no damage. He's ready to go again. They've just seemed to have the better guys. All their guys are healthy. And I'm not saying the Black Zillions is a better gym because I truly believe it's not. But they picked a better team of guys to send into this competition. And I remember the very first episode, you and I were watching it, and my boy, Joe Ray, for American Top Team, training in the background. I'm like, Joe Ray, he's going to be on the show. Never got picked. No. This replacement never put Joe Ray in it. So I'm wondering if it's, I don't know. I don't believe they picked their best guys. And a big takeaway for me here is that they didn't play the system well here, and I think they're in for a bit of
Maybe they'll do ATT versus Black Zillions 2, and your boy Joe Ray will be on it.
Oh, that'd be great. No, I'd love to see something like, American Kickboxing Academy versus Jackson's.
Who do they hate, though? I don't know if they really hate anybody.
No, but I like the premise of having. Here's the thing with the regular season.
What you could do, actually?
Yeah.
What you could do is King's MMA against AKA.
Who doesn't Nova União versus Alpha Male?
Yeah, but I think the language barrier kind of would be an issue.
Yeah, you know what?
Because you would have a whole team of Brazilians, right? And it would be, if you look at this season, it would be hard from our standpoint.
Yeah, but think about it. You would have a whole team of Brazilians who you're like, oh, geez. Then you'd have a whole team of guys that never wear their shirts, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about it. That's some points right there.
You would need everybody
an
Alpha Male.
Load up.
Everybody would just have Alpha Male guys on their team, 100%. But I think King's MMA versus because now you've got this rivalry between Kane and Verdum, and Rockhold has already said that he doesn't like Verdum, so I think there's kind of a bit of some problems happening between those two. I just don't know if King's MMA has the same amount of people or younger level talent.
I bet you they do. No, I bet you they do. I mean, they seem to be a thriving gym. But yeah, I don't know what future plans. And that's I guess that's another takeaway from this, is that the Ultimate Fighter, they're struggling to have something new and something innovative. And whether this season's working for them in that regard, I don't know. It seems like the interactions in the house are virtually non-existent, and the fights haven't been particularly great. That last fight with Hayder, I thought was good. But the biggest thing here is that when you have a regular season in the Ultimate Fighter, you have different people from, cut from different cloths, and you put them all in the same house, and then they're forced to interact and live together. This season here, it's like there's clearly a big division in between both teams. They don't really interact a whole lot, and they've given these guys so much luxury to leave the house and go at the gym, and to have an entire coaching staff come in and hang out with them, that you don't get that mixing of characters. You don't get that super drunk Junie Browning or someone who's just going to make a fool out of themselves because this is their opportunity to make a claim to fame.
Not yet.
Michael Grace is the only person that's straddling that line, and to be honest, I think he's going to keep his
One can dream, and I think eventually we will cross that path again, and God, I love it when that type of thing happens in all sorts of reality television. That's my stuff. Anyway, before we go, we got to give you guys our top threes for Week 8 and overall, obviously. Week 8 top 3, we got Darcy Klassen with 75 points. Perfect lineup. You couldn't have had a better lineup than what Darcy Klassen had. Wow. He had all of the top scorers. He had Hayder Hassan, Felipe Portela, Michael Graves, Dan Lambert, and I believe probably Steve Carl or Nathan Coy. Either way, he had points from every single possible thing that you could have.
Oh, that's great, yeah.
And that was exactly what you had to do.
Maybe he should be giving us some advice.
Maybe.
Your team would be good if it wasn't for getting Montgomery.
I would be in first place, but that's besides the point.
That's besides the point.
Week 8, second place, we've got Leonard Willeke versus, and Ryan Jubelius, his girlfriend.
She's doing
70 points. She's probably the hottest team in this game recently.
Probably. I'm going to say she certainly is, but yes.
Ryan Jubelius' girlfriend is spitting hot fire the last 2 weeks. And third place in Week 8, we've got Chad Midgely, Aaron Bronsteter, and Romero 12 with 65 points. Overall, top 3. You got two-way tie at the top with Aaron Bronsteter and Leonard Willeke. Leonard Willeke has informed me multiple times that he hasn't watched an episode of the show. He didn't know who any of these people are. before, and he just submitted it because it sounded like fun.
Yeah,
he sent me some emails
a lot
about
of the time,
this,
that's
so
how you do well.
That's how anybody can play tough fantasy. That's for sure. Second place we got Romero 12 with 440 points, and rounding out the top 3 overall, we've got Peter Gilbertson and Chase Kaiser's boy Kevin Henry at 435.
Shout out to Kevin Henry and Chase Kaiser. Aaron Bronsteter.
They went to elementary school together.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting.
I'm impressed with Aaron Bronsteter's team because I didn't see him he wasn't hitting the board. He just kind of
the last
he was
4
mid-packing me.
weeks.
The last 4 weeks, he seems to have hit the top 3 every single time, and his team has skyrocketed up to first place. So, I mean, I want to say he has a sleeper team, but came out of nowhere. So good on him. Very impressive.
So yeah, there's your top 3s for week 8. That is all we've got to tell you about this. Hoping that the show maybe picks up a little bit. I think it will down the stretch here. Some of the heat will come in. I suppose the one thing that's the problem with it is there just isn't a competition anymore. It seems like it's a one-sided mugging, maybe very similar to what is going to happen in Germany between Jacek and Penne.
Well, speaking of that, Carrington Banks in one of the episodes, he's like, can we just mercy them? If we get so many points on them and wins, can we just mercy them? And everyone's looking around like, I don't know. And then I think last episode, Dana White's like, Lambert needs to do something here because this is not. Why bother with the competition?
Our ratings
anymore?
are going down.
I thought it was
going
funny.
down every episode.
But yeah, I mean they're getting ATT doesn't have a single guy who has won a fight not named Hayder
And you
Hassan.
know they hate to lose to the Black Zillions of all people.
Well, I don't blame them. Imagine somebody came into your gym, stole a bunch of pieces from you, infuriated you, embarrassed you to a certain extent, and then opens up a gym just down the road. It's like, you know what? I'm going to show him. I'm going to show him what 20 years in this business is, and then he beats you.
And the other guy shows you what 20 times the amount of money he can buy.
Money, experience, money. You can build a team. However, people, you can also buy a team. And if you don't think that's real, look no further than the Black Zillions. However, they do have some good talent, so nothing wrong with that.
All right, we are done and through and out on this here for Week 8 of The Ultimate Fighter. We'll see you next time.